So, hello everyone, welcome to the live talk How to Become a Better Surfer with Martin Dunn from Australia and Vasco Rodrigues from Portugal and myself from Switzerland. So, while I will invite them, I will shortly introduce them, but let me just invite them first to join the talk. All right. So, almost there. All right. So, Martin is a top surf coach from Australia, and he has not only coached numerous professional surfers, but also most of Australia's premier surf coaches. And we have Vasco, personal trainer and surf skate coach. Yeah, and he has trained Kat Barrigao, the Portuguese longboard champion. So Martin, Vasco, welcome. I didn't introduce myself yet, so I'm Kim and I'm a surf mental trainer. Yeah, let's talk about...
Hello.
Yeah, so
Hi, how
first
you
say
going?
hello. I'm sorry.
Good morning from Portugal.
Yeah, well, good
Yeah,
evening from Australia.
Exactly. So we have a different time from
Yeah,
each of us, each and all of
yeah,
us.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Welcome all.
All
So let's dive
right.
in, no?
Yeah, let's do it. Martin, you said like everyone can become a better surfer. So what do you mean by this?
Oh, well, like everyone has their performance level right now, and what they do is they learn how to surf. They get to their level of proficiency through their own endeavors, or they get to a point where they're happy with their surfing. But those who want to be better, they can be better because they can get into learning how to improve particular manoeuvres. They can learn how to improve by getting better, catching better waves. They can improve by making better decisions when they're in the water. Where to sit, where to, their positioning, how to get waves off other people, type of thing. So there's, surfing's such a complex sport. You can improve in so many ways. Whereas the early surfer, they can learn the gross skills, how to do a bottom turn, how to generate speed, and those sort of skills are important to learn if someone hasn't learnt them already. And then as they get better and better, well, then it's more fine tuning. It's more about drawing different lines on the wave. And I work from the grommet level right through surfing mums to the very elite in the sport, and all of them can improve. All of them have different needs and expectations. And so, in my mind, anyone can be a better surfer as long as they want it, as long as they are prepared to do the work.
Yeah. So, but what does a surfer has to ask him or herself before they even kind of dive into surf technique? Is there any important questions?
I suppose the first one is, do they really want to become a better surfer?
Yes.
It's hard work.
It is.
They've got to work through they've got to work through the frustrations of the developmental process. And if they say they want to be a better surfer and then they just go surfing, there's a lot of hit and miss about that. It's not a straightforward process. So probably the first thing is, besides I want to be a better surfer, the first thing is they need to actually have specific things to target. So instead of just going out, I'm going to surf more, or I'm going to go out and surf as much as I can, and that'll make me a better surfer. Or they might say, I'm going to buy a new surfboard because that's going to help me be a better surfer. Which may or may not be true. But if they've got something specific to work on, like it might be, okay, well, I need to generate speed more. I need to be able to generate speed. Or it might be that, I don't catch many waves. I need to catch more waves in the surf. Or it might be for an advanced surfer, it might be, okay, well, my backhand aerial manoeuvre is inconsistent. So once you've got a specific skill or a set of skills that you can focus on, then you've got actually a path, if you like, to where you need to go. Okay, and then with that path, with that specificity in your training, you're gonna be more likely to improve because you've got a clear picture of what you need to do. Okay, and then obviously then you've got to look for, okay, well, how do you go about changing that, or how do you go about improving that?
Yeah, and it's also really important, right? Like to be realistic about how often you can serve, for example. Some people serve only on the weekend, some every day, and some only 2 weeks a year. So yeah, so I think that's also a very important aspect of it, right?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like
Yeah.
if you can only serve a couple of times a month, for example, you know, you cannot expect to be doing aerials next week. You know,
I want to do aerials next week.
Yeah,
Who doesn't?
or whatever skill that is. But you know, yeah, for sure, if there's limitations to the training that you can do, you know, improving your performance isn't for everyone because everyone hasn't got the perseverance. You know, or whereas the highly motivated, even though they may not be able to surf a lot, they're highly motivated. So what do? They go into the gym, they become stronger, they become more mobile, they become more flexible. They go and they do more skate training in preparation for the times when they surf, you know. And then when they get to the beach, they surf their brains out, right? Because they're so motivated to become a better surfer. So, you know, it comes back to the want and how often the amount of time that they can surf, which is a big component to, you know, a big I'm not sure what component's the word, but a big cue to whether they can actually improve their performance. So the expectation has to match what the reality is in their own experience as far as what they can do and what they can't do.
Yeah, very true. So, I mean, is there a systematic approach a surfer can follow, like some steps to become better? Like you already said, like, you know, have some specifics and everything, but can you be more detailed about a system?
Yeah, for sure. Well, in my own training, you know, I recommend, well, from my own experience, I've learned over the years that a lot of people, they don't know how to train. So
Yeah.
they might have been a good tennis player or they may have been a good soccer player. They understand training in that sense. But in surfing, because it's such a free and easy sport, what happens is that they just go surf and then they can become better because of their experience in the water. They become better at that. But actually, what happens to a lot of people, well, what happens to everyone is they get to these performance barriers. Whereas where they've improved as much as they can through just surfing, through just, you know, watching all the YouTube clips, you know, being out with friends, hearing what their friends say they should do, they learn as much as they can and they hit these barriers. And to break through those barriers, then they actually have to be more specific, which I mentioned before.
Yeah.
But then depending on their time and their life experience about whether they're landlocked, whether they can surf every weekend, whether they can surf every day, that determines how much, what type of training regime they can put in. So but ideally what they should be doing is, for example, if they get to the beach, okay, on a daily basis, they get to the beach and they go, okay, I'm going to work on something today. Okay, it might be I'm going to work on finishing today, finishing my waves, right? So what they do is what they have to do is, okay, they get to the beach. A simple thing is they need to look at the ocean and say, okay, well, can I do that skill today?
Yeah.
Okay, will the ocean allow me to do that skill? Okay, obviously finishing should be an easy one. The ocean generally allows that, but if, for instance, they're gonna work on, say, developing their cutback, right? The cutback needs waves to be able to you know, You need to be able to go into waves that actually back off or get fat, where you can cut back on the wave, right? Whereas if you're going to surf a beach which has got really fast waves, lots of closeouts and whatever, you can't really train that type of thing on that particular day. So you've got to actually assess the conditions and say, okay, are the conditions good enough for me to train today? Can I train that skill? Okay. And then the next thing they need to do is, okay, well, decide, okay, this is the skill I'm going to work on. This is the one I want to work on, and I understand what I've got to do. Then what I generally do is I get them to, well, I normally write little notes on the nose of their board, okay, because so I get a pencil and I write a little note on the nose of their board, because what that does, that helps them visualize what they need to do when they're in the water, okay. And a big part of improving performance is actually staying focused when you're in the water, staying focused on task when you're in the water. So I get them to do that. So, assess the conditions, decide what you're going to work on, write little notes, set a goal for, okay, so the next 6 waves. I talk about, okay, I want you to go out for 6 waves or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. And the reason I do that is because that's a good time, that's a good focus block of time that people can maintain their focus for.
Yep.
Okay. If you go, okay, I want you to go and work on your finishes, but I don't give people a time limit or a number of waves, they'll just go out and they'll lose focus because there's so much happens in the ocean, right? And if you want to improve, what you need to do is you need to keep your mind on the job. It's like you're studying for an exam. You've got to keep your mind on the job to actually incorporate the skill or the information in your brain. So having short, sharp training drills, like in my world, it's 6 waves or 40 minutes, then come back to the beach and assess what's going on. When you're in the water, obviously you've got to try and catch the waves that allow you to do the skill. It's not about catching any old wave. It's about catching specific waves. And then when paddling back out, how did you go? So you review yourself after each wave ridden. It's not just paddling back out, not thinking anything. You actually have some sort of thought process about, okay, did the wave allow me to do the skill I was trying to do? Did I perform the skill well? If I didn't perform the skill well, what would I need to do better next time on the next wave? And then once you've finished your time, you come back to the beach and you just, okay, well, how did it go? If I said, okay, I wanted to do it 4 waves out of 6, then you go through the process and you think about, well, how did I go? Normally, that's my job as a coach to actually implement that training system. But for a lot of surfers around the world, they haven't got a coach. I train people online a lot because I know that there's a lot of people who are motivated, but they haven't got good advice around them. So I teach them those type of systems so that they're more likely to be able to have effective training, because effective training is quality training, and quality training is where you get fast tracking of improvements in performance.
Mm-hmm. So what is your experience with recreational surfers who know about the system now and they want to implement it, but they still they can't seem to change something? Do you have an advice for them what to do, or how they can break a barrier by themselves?
Well, if they can't break the barrier by themselves, what they need to do is they need to either seek outside help. So look for a knowledgeable surf coach. There's a lot of stuff online. I've got to say, not all of it's good. But there is some good information online. Yeah. What a lot of people do with me is they send videos of their surfing to me, and I'm not talking just about professional surfing, but I'm talking about grommets and surfing mums. I just had one from a 45-year-old business executive from California 2 days ago. Okay, so he just wants to be a better surfer, and the advice I gave him, and he got back to me and he said, he said, I wish I had this sort of advice when I was learning how to surf, because often these people people who have been surfing for a long time have got an understanding of what surfing is. They just haven't got the awareness about what needs to be targeted. And my job or a knowledgeable coach, whether it's me or someone else around the world, my job is actually to say, okay, that part of your cutback, for instance, is the problem to why your cutback isn't any good. They can't work that out themselves because they haven't got the technical knowledge, right? But once they've got the technical knowledge and they understand, okay, if I focus on that part rather than thinking about the whole manoeuvre, actually I can improve the whole manoeuvre by thinking about that one part. Okay, so when you break it down, when a knowledgeable coach breaks it down into the component parts, what happens is that then it's, oh, okay, I understand that. That's manageable. I can do that. When people go out and they just paddle out, I'm trying to be a better surfer, because as I said before, surfing is such a complex sport. The amount of information we take off when we take in when we surf becomes overwhelming, right? And people lose their focus. They can't stay focused on job. So they've got to try and work out ways of staying focused on the task. So getting good information that's specific to them is really a big key. That can really fast track someone's surfing. And you know, I work with. I know I get probably a couple of hundred videos a year from people sending me videos. You know, and as I said, that's the best thing of the lot. If you can't see a coach, then go to a week-long surf camp is a really positive thing, or send a video to a coach that knows what they're talking about. Then you're going to get the information that then you can be specific about your surfing, and then couple that with your motivation, you're more likely to break your barriers.
Cool. Thank you very much for the input. I think that is very helpful for all of you guys watching. And now, Vasco, I wonder, so we've heard a lot about surf technique or the approach on how to become a better surfer regarding ocean time. But on the physical level, what do you think? What's your approach? What should a surfer focus on first to become better in surfing?
Well, there's again, like Martin said, it's very complex, and there's a lot into it. So it's not just focus on one thing. You need to be able to work not just your body but your technique out of the water. I think in order for you to improve on your surfing, it should have a complement or something else out of the water. You should combine both surfing and physical training and also skating, like Martin said, in order for you to improve. But regarding physical aspect, I think if you are a recreational surfer, there's two things that you need, or you're just starting to surf, or you have a low level, paddling and working out your pop-up. For me, those are the two things you should be working on the gym. And you can work your shoulders, you can work your back muscles, and also your chest muscles. So basically work around the torso and shoulders. That will give you the most value for money, let's say. If you are a bit intermediate or advanced, I would focus more. I would continue working on both, but in order for you to be an intermediate and advanced surfer, you will need to have water time. Otherwise, you're not going to improve. That's a basic rule of thumb. If you don't practice the sport itself, you're not able to advance as fast as you could. But I would focus a little bit more on leg strength. Okay, because probably if you are intermediate and advanced surfer, you will have longer waves, and you will probably go to more challenging waves and heavier waves. And to finish, I would say, because I want to keep it short, not too much information, I would work on mobility, okay, throughout all joints, okay, shoulders, hip, knees, ankles, all of those major joints, they need to be worked, and they need to be flexible enough or mobile enough in order for you to do all the maneuvers that you want to. And for instance, when you are a beginner or beginner to intermediate, if you don't have a proper paddling technique, you will be really challenging. It will be challenging for you to move to the next level, because you're not able to get to the outside as fast as you can. You will not be able to pick up the waves that you want to, and that will, at the end, will limit the ability for you to develop and to evolve on your surfing. So basically, those are the four things: paddling, pop-up, leg strength, and for all, mobility.
Okay, thank you very much, Vasco. So yeah, it's almost the end of the year, so we can have our next year's resolution.
Let's go to the gym, do some surf
Yeah.
skating.
Yeah. So I would take up the opportunity to also say something about the mental side. And I think to become better is already, as Martin said, you have to want it, have the willpower and perseverance. How do you say that word? Perseverance. Yeah.
Perseverance.
You have to do the work. But what I see in many recreational surfers is that they focus a lot on what they can't control. But it's so important to understand what I can control and what not. So myself, I can control myself, my body, my mind, yeah, but I cannot control the conditions of the surf. So there is no point in dwelling on problems I cannot control. Also, allowing yourself to make mistakes, because mistakes are something that you learn from. And it's not about like feeling bad about mistakes, but being happy about having done a mistake, because it will show you where you can improve, and it will give you an indication how you can improve. Which brings me to the problem solution mindset. Yeah, always looking for solutions and not dwelling in the problem. That leads me to the next thing, which is focus on the process and not the result, right? Because we want to do that cutback. And when we're not able to do the cutback, we're like frustrated. But if I can do like a full movement, this is the result of many other things, of the whole process from step 1 to step 5. And that is something I can control. That is something I can focus on. I give my best, I have the right mindset, and I focus on the different aspects of the movement, as also Martin said before, right? So it's not the cutback as a whole, but it's some parts of different movement aspects. So when you focus on the process and that one really works well, the result will be a lot better. So these are some fundamentals in the mindset that I think are very important. Of course, being playful, patient, and yeah.
And positive. Because
and
I think
positivity
brings also improvement. Yeah, of course. But I also think, just to take a little bit what you said, I think it's easier, like Martin said also, to focus on small steps instead of focusing on the whole itself. If you start working, because it's easier, the tasks are easier, and this way it's a fast track to progress, I would say.
Yeah.
Focus less on the whole, but more on what are the steps I need to take in order to achieve that maneuver, or to be able to finish a move, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's so much about like, where is my focus? Yeah, that's the most important thing. Like, where is my focus? And how, the questions of like, how can I do something, or like, what do I have to do and how can I get there? Yeah, Martin, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, just that thing about having a positive mindset. You know, like it's you can't ignore the mistakes that you have, but you can't dwell on them, like you said, Kim. You can't dwell on those mistakes. I had a surfer a number of years ago. He was in a training camp that I was conducting, and he was 50. He was in the top 50 in the world at the time. So he was a high level Australian surfer. And he came and trained at this camp, and in the first surf, the surf was like 3 to 5 feet, good waves, closeouts, you know, whatever. And then when he came out of the water, I asked him, I often ask people, especially when I first worked with them, I said, how did you go? Or, what did you do well? And he said, well, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, I did this wrong, and, excuse the French, he said, I surf like shit, right? which to me was really weird because I'd seen him surfing at an international level and I saw him, making some mistakes. But clearly all he was doing was dwelling on the mistakes. And so I said to him, well, tell me what you did well. Tell me some things you did well in that time. And he thought for a moment and he goes, I did nothing well. Everything was bad, right? Which told me that surfer was if he was in a heat and he made a mistake, he would be actually surfing against 4 surfers instead of 3 because he's also surfing against himself, right?
Yeah.
That surfer at the end of that training camp, the very next week, because I kept on to him about, tell me what you did well, tell me what you did well. At the end of that week, there was a 4,000 or 4-star WQS in Newcastle, Australia, and he won the thing the very next week. Okay, and then the next year he actually qualified for the WCT, okay. and so he was on the CT for the next 4 or 5 years. But this guy, he would never ever have made the WCT with the mindset that he had. And so, keeping your mind positive, accepting the mistakes, but then moving forward. Okay, what can I do next? Is a positive approach that you can have, and it works really well at the elite level and now also at the beginner level.
Yeah, at all levels for sure. Yeah,
at all levels. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we're talking about levels, so is there any difference between the levels, like new, developing, intermediate, advanced, on what they should focus on?
Oh no, I think fundamental. Well, obviously, the advanced surfers have got more skin in the game, if you like. They've got sponsorships, they've got contests to wins. It's a very important goal of theirs that they become a better surfer, become a more competent surfer. But the fundamental underlying principle of why people want to become better is that they just want to enjoy their surfing more. They want to be able to paddle out, and they want to feel as though they belong in the lineup. They want to feel as though they're competent on a daily basis. They want to actually take off of the wave and do a good turn, finish the wave cleanly. Even in bad surf, that can make their day, because that's what surfing's all about. That's why we keep on going back to surfing, because it gives you that high when you do something well. And I think people get that high and they want more of it. Right. So,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, they do, And, obviously at the top level, like the guy I was talking about before, he was at a very high level, and he was missing the point. He'd lost the joy, But for most people, it's all about that joy. But the problem is to get to, as I said, some people also get to a level of mediocrity, so that they get to a level and they're satisfied with their performance, and that's fine. That's okay. That's all good, because that's surfing allows that, and you can do that. But those who want to be better, they also have to become better. You actually have to work at it, and that's the thing that some people just can't persist with that. So if it's a beginner, intermediate, advanced, they all have to work on it. Work through the frustrations of the developmental process, and if they persist and they're actually being specific in their training, they start getting results. And the positive thing about that, with all of those different levels, not only do they get an improvement in the physical appearance of their surfing, but they also become stronger in their mind. They become they have more self-belief. They have more confidence in the lineup, they expect it. They get a positive self-expectancy about their performance. They expect that they're going to do things well. So it just gets a multiplier effect, and well, in my role as a coach, it's a great thing to see people becoming better, because I know it's not only about the physical appearance, but it's also the mental strength that they're gaining as well.
Yeah. And the interesting part, when someone is getting better and gains more confidence and all what you've said now, is that they make so much better decisions, you know?
Yep.
Because what I've seen is, like, when you get frustrated or angry, you're starting to make like really bad decisions, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, you know? Yeah. So
the frustration accumulates. And then if you don't have another part of that is also the physical aspect, because not all people are ready to address surfing in a more consistent way, because they have issues, physical issues or mind issues or time issues. So all of that, it's a commitment. I think in order for you to improve surfing, like you said, you need to put the hours, either at the gym or preferably at the gym, with the skating, with the surfing, with the mental preparation for your surfing. Because let's say you are a weekend warrior, you can only go once or twice a week to surf. That's really good, but you still have a week long ahead of you or before you. And if you don't do anything to keep your mind and your body engaged to the task that you're trying to achieve, it's challenging, and basically you just go 2 steps to the front and then 1 or 2 back, and then so basically you don't move anywhere because of that. So I think to have a more general approach to surfing, specific in one case, but also keep it a little bit open and work it as a lifestyle also, because surfing is also very intense and really good. Lots of studies say that it's a good, you have good enough cardio, strength, flexibility, move, all of those things you can get by surfing. Of course, if you want to improve, you need to do a little bit more, not just do once or twice a week when you go surfing, because then you get sore and all of those things that come afterwards. So yeah, for me, that's it.
Yeah, very true. So much in surfing.
It is. We've been combined together. I think we have how many years of surfing experience?
Oh,
Martin, you have.
Martin.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older. I've been around a long while.
But you still have hair. Yeah. On my side, I don't have anything anymore.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
it is, of
okay.
course.
When we're talking about preparation, I wonder also, Martin, like right before you send the surfer in, like apart from looking at the conditions, do you give them any preparation to do, like a few minutes at the beach, like a mental warm-up or a physical warm-up as a coach?
Well, as a coach, I make we obviously discuss what they should be working on, consummate to their experience level, taking into account the surf that day, and then you know then fundamentally having discussion about what they're trying to get out of the training session that day. You know, and again, it depends on the performance of the performance level. Depends on what your expectation as a coach is that you with the more advanced ones you can give them more autonomous direction, if you like. So it's more of a discussion. With the beginners, more it's just go and do this, just go and do that.
Okay.
So they don't have to think too much about it, because it's, as I said, because they're overwhelmed in a lot of ways, because of, especially with the early level surfers, they can become overwhelmed if you allow them to have too much, make too many decisions in their surfing. So But what you want to do is when you're working with a surfer, you want to try and help them become more self-sufficient so that they make the decisions themselves. So it ends up being a discussion in the end about what they should be doing.
Okay.
But you know, obviously, if you can set a goal, set a you know, get them what's the word? Get them regularly setting goals or tasks, and then reviewing them when they come out of the water. Again, in a discussion, in a conversational way.
Yeah.
That's developing good self-sufficiency skills so they can do it themselves at their home beach away from the coach.
Yeah. Because I'm working mostly with people that have a mental block, right? That feel stuck because of what's going on in their mind. And what I do is I give them a mental warm-up routine to do before they go in. It mostly comprises of like breathing techniques and visualization. Then also, of course, as you said, very important to set an intention for the session and to be clear about what they have to train. But yeah, for those who feel they are mentally blocked, it really, really helps to add a mental warm-up routine to the preparation before they go in.
Right.
Yeah.
I do that with competitive surfers
Yeah.
or surfers young surfers when they're about to surf larger waves. It's more about a calming procedure. But in my own world, I haven't done that too much with the regular surfers. They're just so keen to get in the water that you don't want to hold them back more than you.
It's true. It's true, but that's why I say like our surf training weeks are especially for the mental aspect. Yeah. So those people who feel they need the mental support, that's the ones that I train with. Yeah. But
Right.
for the rest, like.
Yeah.
Of course, like let them go and jump into the water for sure.
Let me just say,
Sorry.
let me just say one thing that is from my experience from working with more advanced surfers. I would say that the warm up, that can be physical or mental or technique, whatever, it needs to be done on a very consistent way with all the exercises, because that's a trademark for the high level surfers or athletes, whatever they are, because they need to be in that mindset and they need to be with their bodies with that specific exercise, because it's like muscle memory, and that works really well in order for them to achieve what they want to achieve. And translating that to the lower level surfers or athletes, that also helps. For instance, in the beginning, when I started doing surf fitness training, nobody was doing it, at least here in Portugal. In Australia and in the US, yes, but in Portugal, nobody was doing. Nowadays, they are doing it. Why? Because they start seeing the high level surfers doing the fitness and doing the preparation they need. So by doing this extrapolation, so if the higher levels are doing it and they are achieving it, so basically everybody should start doing that in order to achieve the goals they set up to. And I think it's a really important part before you go surfing, before you do your activity, to do that warm-up and try to be really consistent with that warm-up. So do it always and not just move your arms and ready to go. Most of the times you will you will do the warm-up in the water, so you'll miss a lot of waves, and yeah, that's not what you're looking for. The goal to be in the water is to catch as many quality waves as possible, and if your body is ready and your mind is ready for that, I think it's already a step forward to development. Martin?
Yeah, and it's especially, yeah, Martin is frozen there. But yeah, I think especially when you get older also, you just need it. It's better for your body. I mean, the kids, maybe they don't need it as much. I'm not sure about it, but yeah. So Martin
I
is
would say
kind
kids.
of stuck.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know exactly.
yeah.
But
What?
but I would say yes, but especially because kids have more time. Maybe you need to ask Martin to join again.
Yeah.
Kids have more time and are more active. Throughout life, we get more time on the computer, sitting or doing more sedentary work, and that plays a role and a huge effect on our bodies, and consequently, it plays a role on the physical activity that we do, being surfing or anything else. So I would say you need to keep your body active, being surfing or doing other kinds of exercise, in order for you to evolve. But it depends on the time that you have, the commitment,
Yeah.
the motivation. We talk a
Very
lot about
true.
this. Kim.
Yeah, yeah, we did. So we were still waiting for Martin to rejoin. I hope he can. So maybe he's out of battery or something, his phone.
I don't
We
know.
had, yeah, we had two more questions we wanted to talk about with him. We can still do it
Hmm.
in another talk. One would have been like, he said that it is very advisable to review your surf session. And I wanted to ask, he said, okay, I try one more time to invite him. And my question would have been like how to properly review the surf session. Like which question do you have to ask yourself in order to get the good answers for yourself, so you know how to proceed. And the
I,
last question would have been that, yeah, can really everyone still become a better surfer, even if they're like at the highest level, let's say Kelly Slater? So that would have been interesting to hear his take on it as well. Vasco, what would you say?
well, I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
Of course, again, we go back to the physical part, not so much the mental at this stage. But the older we get, the less physical able we are to improve on our level, because we lose capabilities of movement per se, because we lose power, we lose strength, we lose mobility. But I think so, technically wise, yes. Nevertheless, we are always able to improve on your surfing. You just need to
yeah,
commit and take the time, and maybe change a little bit your lifestyle in order to achieve what you want. If you want to do, but you can't be too ambitious. Otherwise,
yeah, true.
otherwise it's really challenging, because it's a time-consuming sport. It's not just
It's true.
not
It's
it's
true.
not easy.
Yeah. So I think Martin can't join anymore. I tried to invite him a few times. So we're gonna end
Okay.
this talk now. Guys, don't leave yet, because I want to tell you we are gonna bring Martin to Europe in October next year for 2 training weeks. So whoever of you guys are interested in getting more information about the training weeks, please send us a DM, so a direct message, so we can send you more information about it. This will be the only opportunity for non-professional surfers to train with Martin in Europe next year. So don't miss out on it. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining in, for listening. And if you have any questions, send us a DM me or Martin or to Vasco, and we're really happy to answer that. We want to continue this series of live talks with Martin, and I think a very interesting topic would be to dive into like how to properly train. But if you have any topics that you really want to talk about, or that you want us to talk about, just also send us a DM with your suggestion. That would be cool. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, and see you guys next time. Thank you, Vasco,
Bye
as well,
bye.
and
Ciao.
Martin.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Ciao.
Bye
Ciao.
bye.
Bye.
All right, now, guys, I have to see how to end this. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.